Hello, everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven,
My name is Jerry.
and we're here to do draft profile number one.
Numero uno.
This is a lot of people who listen to our podcast's favorite thing that we do,
Yeah,
the draft profiles.
I, I like them
So,
too. So
yeah, I like them as well, and I think it's how a lot of people find our podcast. So, welcome to those of you who may not have listened to us before.
yeah,
Period.
hopefully we get people to listen to. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think they're
that's
like trying to get more information on some of the players, and they find out that we're a Panthers podcast. So
yeah,
again, we
yeah.
always are specific towards the Panthers. So if your team, you know,
Isn't the Panthers?
yeah, then some
Sorry.
of our information or thought processes don't align. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. We look at these players like from the standpoint of what do they mean to our team?
yes.
Where do they fit in our team? Yeah.
Correct. So, like you said, Mykel, is that how you say Mykel Williams?
Mykel Williams, I believe is how he pronounces it.
Edge rusher out of Georgia, 6'5", 265 pounds, a junior. Currently 20 years old. Take it away.
20 years old. Mykel Williams arrived at Georgia as a five-star recruit in the 2022 class, ranked him in the top defensive prospects nationally out of Hardaway High School. He was a Columbus native, was originally committed to USC, went to Georgia instead. Uh, Contributed to a national championship as a true freshman and earned two second team All SEC nods, 2023 and 2024. Uh, and that is all I have. So thank you to the AI who wrote that. We appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, he's a pretty highly regarded player out of Georgia.
Yeah. Um, Quickly going over his stats here. In 2024, he only played in 12 games, had 5 sacks, 6 QB hits, and 15 hurries. Honestly, it was kind of a similar year to his 2023 season. 13 games, 6 sacks, 3 QB hits, 17 QB hurries, and then I mean he
It's
got better from his freshman year, where he played 15 games, 6 sacks, 2 QB hits, and 25 hurries. But that was also again in 15 games. So it's kind of
yeah.
he's unfortunately hasn't seemed to play all the games, but he also is.
Well, I think he's been relatively healthy until this season. There are only 13, 14, 15 games in a college season
Yeah, that's
anyway,
true.
right? So, but he did say that he hurt his ankle this year. He played at 60% for a majority of the season or half the season or something. But he himself said that today at the combine or today or yesterday, one of the 2 days. But so you know, there is some injury issues there. He's not going to be working out at the combine. He's just there to basically speak to the teams. But yeah, his stats are not eye-popping,
No, not at all.
but his size is, and supposedly he's kind of played at a lot of different positions on the defense, not always rushing the passer. And there's some thought there that like with more consistency at an edge rushing position, consistently would he contribute more? So the stats don't concern me overall. I mean, he's a freak athlete. He's huge, and he has shown the ability to get to the quarterback.
Yeah. PFF has his rush win rate in college as 11.1,
Yeah,
which is solid. I mean, that's
it's not elite,
no.
right? It's not elite, but really, I think where he shines is in the run game, right?
100%. I mean, his run defensive grade is at 82.9.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
considered elite.
yeah, like I've watched some film or some highlights. I hate calling it film because I don't get the actual film of all his snaps and stuff, but I do get the highlights and I see where he succeeds and where he succeeds by fluke or a bad play more consistently. So
Yeah,
I It's definitely in his run game that he really succeeds in as a winner. Do we want to go ahead and go cons and pros?
Yeah, I want to talk real quick. His pass rush grade is a 70, which is above average. So I think a lot of it again is inconsistency with his positioning, just being played kind of all over the place, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But yeah, that run stop rate of 7.6% is really high. Like he's got some real talent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, let's do the pros and cons, Jerry. I'll do the cons and we'll let you grace us with the pros.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So first con here, not great pass rushing production in college and needs to work on skills. We kind of mentioned that. One of the things that I saw that he really kind of relies on is his strength to get pat through defenders or to get through tackles, rather than like an array of moves. He's
Mm.
more of just a power rusher. So he doesn't have a lot of bend, is what I saw. So I don't know if that's something that he can learn or if that's just kind of what he's going to be.
Yeah, when I watched the highlights, I saw him win again with the power rush move. I also saw him use the club a couple times, and I actually
Mhm.
saw him do a spin move. But you're right, that long or fast bend he doesn't have in his toolbox, which I think is a way that a lot of the NFL top edges win.
Yeah, he's very good with his hands. You kind of mentioned that, but that's one of the pros that I saw. And we'll get to the pros in a minute, but that he was really good with his hands. So he's got the power rush and he's got a good hand placement. It'll be interesting to see if he can add another move or two. Uh, but maybe one of the reasons was he doesn't show initial burst off the line of scrimmage. So he could be kind of gearing up for that power rush rather than just blasting past the guy, right? That we see, we used to see Brian Burns do, just kind of go around a guy or,
Mm-hmm.
do a, he did a little swoop move. But yeah, I don't know. Any
Uh,
thoughts on that?
oh, I have lots of thoughts on his burst. It is not there. That
Yeah.
is my biggest fear of drafting him. Is I watch him and he is very slow getting off that line, and that is again he wins by his power. He's a power
Mhm.
guy, but he also should have the measurables to also have that burst, and he just doesn't seem to show it.
Is that something that can be taught, but it can be coached? Is that a technique thing or is that an instinct thing?
And I'm gonna get to that when we touch on the pros because
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That would require getting a coach's hands on him to see if that makes sense.
Yeah, that could just be something about being around veteran players who can teach you the ins and outs of the snap,
Mm-hmm.
and then just some coaching up. I mean, that doesn't seem like an irredeemable quality, right?
Yeah.
But certainly something that needs to be worked on. In addition to his pad level, and I saw this as well, that just he plays with his pads really high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I watched some tackles get underneath him and kind of bully him around. He made the play, but that was because the play ended up going to where he kind of got pushed.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and when I say pushed, I mean the guy is 6'5", 265. It's not like you're getting thrown around. He got moved
Right.
a little bit and so
Yeah.
happened to be there.
All right,
So
some tackles are really big and good too.
yeah,
It's okay.
he
It
played in the
happens.
SEC. I mean, that's
Right.
where the best line play there is.
Yeah.
Now to the pros. Great size and measurables. Just mentioned him, 6'5", 265. Has
Hmm.
potential to become a top edge rusher in the league. I do
Yeah.
believe that.
He definitely has the size for it.
Yeah. Great run defender. When he got his mitts on the running backs, I didn't see them really kind of get free. I saw him always keeping that grip, whether it was getting tackled or not. I never saw him get a tackle broken on him.
Which is interesting because I think his tackle grade wasn't super high, but I saw the same thing. So I don't know. He could be. It could be that he's blocking, or maneuvering guys into other guys. Who knows? But
Yeah.
yeah, elite run defender.
Yeah. Patience and burst when the gap shows. And this is where I was kind of talking about how I don't know if what he does on the line of scrimmage is he's not rocketing out. He's not bursting out. He's very patient when the ball is snapped. Then he makes a play, whether it's like he's gearing up to shove the tackle back, or if I've seen him do this where he sits there, he touches his guy, and then does what is it called? I can't think, but he does a curve around to the other gap and hits it fast and make a play to hurry the QB or so. So I don't know if it's his playing style or if that's how he was coached. So I don't know, playing edge all the time, if he'll be able to get that burst. But his patience and his knowledge when the ball is snapped was impressive to me, where he had a knack for finding where the ball carriers were.
So, I mean, maybe just the fact that that's the way he plays can explain that lack of burst, I guess.
Yeah, like
Right?
I don't know if a cerebral type of edge rusher or edge player.
Maybe. I'm, I'm sure that would be a flattering way for us to describe it.
Yeah.
if that's the way it is, but yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go to another one that's not on the list right away, but when he's not getting to the quarterbacks on pass plays where he tries to do his power rush, he doesn't see a gap. I noticed him being very smart in the way of he drifts to where the quarterback's eyes are at and gets his hands up in the passing lanes.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that quite a bit, and that's why I said cerebral, because I do think that he's not just head hunting like Brian Burns was a headhunter, which is fine.
Right.
That's his bread and butter. But he does seem to not solely focus on trying to get the quarterback. He's also, okay, I lost. Now let's or I'm not getting there. Let me see what it could do. Let me go into a contain, get my hands up type of situation.
And that does maybe explain how he is such a good run defender as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because his first thought is not get to the quarterback, maybe. Right? Or it's maybe 1A, but 1B is also keep an eye on everything else.
Yeah. And I don't know
if
if that's what is going through his head. I would like to talk to him about that, but that's kind of what I was getting my overall thought when I was watching him.
Yeah. Well, that makes me feel better about him, to be honest.
And that's why I wrote smart overall player, because I do think he's smart in the way he plays. Great power rusher. We've touched on that already.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just pushes guys back into the quarterback. That's how it gets most of his sacks.
Yeah. My only concern with that would be this is, he's moving to the NFL where every player is going to be as good as the best SEC defender.
Yeah.
That he went up against, right? So can he maintain being the most powerful guy on the field in the NFL?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we were talking about developing the other moves, right?
Yeah. Can and has played multiple positions on the line.
Yeah, which again, I think it kind of could explain some of his production numbers, right? Because if he's playing on the interior a lot, he's going to be less likely to get a sack.
Yeah. Overall, the reason why I really kind of wanted to pick him too, besides the fact that we got a mock draft, is because I saw in rankings him like 8 as high as 7 and 8 to as low as like 30s. Like It's just like, and I was kind of curious why the draft guys that do this for a profession, like why they were kind of up and down on him. I could see it, because if you think you could develop that edge rush, that pass rush, which I do think there's a possibility, I think he could be elite. Now, if he doesn't develop that pass rush, you know what I see him as? I see him as a quality starter, but I don't see him higher than that. I think his floor is very good.
Is this floor like Jadeveon Clowney?
I would say
today, Jadeveon Clowney.
That would be my guess.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit better run defender right now. But
just in terms of like production.
Yes, I would say that would be kind of his floor, where he's not that star, but he can definitely give you some quality snaps and plays.
Unlikely to be a bust.
Yes, I would definitely say that.
But maybe not be, an all pro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of someone who I could describe him. Maybe the Jatavion Clowney, where he was number one overall pick.
Hmm.
Just it didn't pay.
Never.
He was good player, just not that.
Yeah. Never. Never considered the best at his position
No.
in the NFL. But yeah, and so yeah, I like him. I think he's a realistic option at 8. He certainly plays a position of need, and he is, I would say, unlikely to go ahead of 8, although it is possible he goes at 5, 6, or 7. I've seen him mocked there. I actually think Mel Kiper has him at 4 now on his big board. So, but I've seen that he's at 4, and like you said, I think CBS has him at like 31.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
it's wild. There's like a bar graph I saw kind of showing the rankings. It was like 4, 5, 8, 7, or 7, 7, 10, 15, 13, 19, 28, 29. So like it's crazy. Like everybody, they're all over the place with him, but I think everybody can agree that he's got the body for it, right?
Yeah,
He's got the size that you want.
and who knows? I mean, the Panthers have DJ Wonnum and Jatavion Clowney next year.
Yeah.
Who's to say that they look at him and say, yeah, he's raw on his pass rush, but he has the physical tools. And my D line coach says, yes, I got this. He has it. I can coach him up. I could get that out of him. But for now, he's going to be a solid contributor in the run game because our run defense was the worst of all time.
That to me is maybe the best reason why I think he would be a good fit here, right? Is just he fixes the major hole. He doesn't fix, but he helps with a major hole on this defense. Like if he can shut down one side of the field, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge in the run game. So I don't know. I don't imagine he'll end up being number 1 on our board at the end of this,
I don't either.
but I think he likely could be in the top 5.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think he likely would be 3 or 4.
Yeah, I do too. Again, and he may be a good trade back candidate. Drop back a few spots
True.
and grab him. And maybe
I mean, do
pick
you
up
like him better at 15 than you like him at 8?
I don't think he gets to 15. I know some people think he does, but I don't.
Yeah.
I think you got to get to like 12. I don't think he really kind of passes that area.
He feels like a guy that someone's going to take because pass rushers are,
And
you
he has the
everybody
tools
needs them.
in his box. It's just
Yeah.
you're gonna have to teach him to use those tools, and hope he can.
Yeah, and we didn't really talk much about draft strategy, but it is, I think, just as likely the Panthers pick at 8 as they trade back. I think it's 50-50.
I do too.
I could easily see them trading back from this pick. In fact, Dan Morgan today in an interview talked about that. He said that trading back in this draft is likely, trading up is unlikely. So I think acquiring picks is the name of the game here. I could very easily see them trading to the middle of this draft, the first round.
Yeah, the only way I see that is if Abdul Carter somehow slips to 7, and who's ever at 7 calls us up and be like, well, I have another guy on the phone. Do you want me to drop back and give us a pick?
Yeah, I mean, he would be worth it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
he would
was
be worth it.
debating even to look at Abdul Carter.
I don't know that we should. I don't know that we should. I don't think he's realistic at 8.
I don't either. At first, when this first mock started coming out, it was, but now it just he's
just, and he's gonna make me look at everybody else differently because he's gonna be so much better.
I mean, he's number 1 on people's big boards now. Like when they really got into him there. So, yeah.
So unfortunately, probably won't be looking at him. Maybe a gas mask photo comes out at some point and helps us out, but it's probably not, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, here's the portion where we would normally say, where he is on our big board. Well, he's the only one we've done right now, so he's number 1.
He's number 1, numero uno,
number 1 on the draft board. What are we thinking about for our next one?
I have a couple guys in mind. I'm gonna stick with probably the edge rusher, as I think that's one of our big needs. I was thinking the guy
Jalen
from
Walker?
Tennessee.
Oh, the other guy.
the Tennessee guy, James Pierce
Yeah,
Jr.
I think
He's one
those
I'm
are our next.
intriguing. Jalen Walker, and I also want to touch on Mike Green. So that's why I
Mhm.
said we got to make more of these and probably a lot shorter episodes.
I don't know how long this has even been, but yeah, this is a good conversation. Um, yeah, okay, cool. I like that. Let's go with the Tennessee guy next. Pierce, right?
He's another guy that I see going up and down, and I just
Yeah,
want to get my eyes on him to see why.
agreed. Same. Yep. Okay, cool. Well, I think that'll do it.
Yep. And we want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And if you leave us a 5-star review with a comment, we will read it on the show.
All right. Well, we'll be back in a few days, I guess, with our next one.
Yeah.
And until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.
I forgot to hit the exit.